Hello everyone, very good morning. How are you doing? Welcome to this um, class. So my bad. It should be. I hope you people are studying. You people are preparing every day. At least solving few questions every day. With respect to CAT 2020, people are putting in required effort. So because we are putting in effort, we are sort of going out of the way and creating questions for you and creating challenging questions for you, which sort of give you an opportunity to look into the various kind of questions that come in, and to sort of make you confident when it comes to CAT preparation. Just 1 minute, let me see whether I'm coming all right or not. And uh, there has to be this agenda, this thought that we can excel in fewer number of days, given the time constraint which we have in front of us, and the improvement we can make in our preparation will be seen very soon, basically in your test series. Very soon this improvement will be seen. All right. So my name is Anupam. So to stay in touch, please download and install Unacademy app. um, Go to plus, go to cat, and subscribe. um, these are the um, these are the four options. These are the uh, five options which have been given in front of you. These options, you can pick up anything more than 12 months. For the people who are preparing for CAT 2021, anything more than 24 months makes sense. Anything more than 12 months makes sense, because you'll be writing CAT in 2021, and the selection procedure will go up to March or June, July of April of 2022. So that is more than 12 months. So it's almost 18 months, basically, if you can put it that way. So 24 months plan makes sense. 12 months plan um, will be, I think, ideal for somebody who is preparing for who is aiming to look at 2020, keeping in mind that will be preparing you um, for GDPI. Also we'll be preparing you for other examinations after CAT, like ZAT and NMAT and SNAP, IFT. So in that way, so and that's a funda of this episode, that that we'd be if you work hard in these 30-40 days, definitely you will see an improvement in your CAT performance. And the second point is that somewhere um, you will also feel that if you keep working after CAT also for next 30-40 days, then in these examinations like IFT, NMAT, SNAP, and ZAT, you will see an improvement in your preparation. So please use the code Saxena Live to get 10% discount. The pricing is 18,900 and 15,750. So yes, so basically, in you can look at this entire story that imagine, like I've always discussed, that you can imagine this entire episode with respect to odd one out and parajumbles to be a jigsaw puzzle. One has to look to arrange it. One has to look for pairs, grammar-based connection, idea-based connection, and then odd one out is a word. So a line which doesn't matches with respect to the idea, the line which doesn't matches with respect to the language, the line which doesn't matches through other lines with respect to the primary purpose, which doesn't matches the other lines with respect to with other lines of the paragraph with respect to the central idea or the theme. Okay, so if it doesn't fit in anywhere, then that happens to be your odd one out. So grammar based connection and idea based connection, they're nothing but this is your noun and pronoun based connection. For example, there is a proper noun somewhere, there's a proper noun and common noun connection. Then there's a proper noun and pronoun connection. So in a way, yes, I think a certain amount of improvement and changes can be brought in to understand this particular problem here. What happens is that like a normal if we write a paragraph, we will need somewhere pronouns to refer to the words to the nouns which we've used earlier in the sentence. So naturally, these small links, okay. For example, we mention a person's name. So person's name is say Arun in first sentence, and in the second or the third sentence in the parajumble or in the odd one out, we find that there is the man given somewhere or the boy given somewhere. So naturally, this Arun and the other sentence containing the name, the man, the boy, these two things will come one after the other. There will be a connecting pair. So in that way, I think so in that way, I think it is extremely important to look at that way. One more point is that sometimes it also happens that certain connections can be also performed in a way that there is a cause and effect relationship, that there is a reason given it why something happens and then the effect comes after it. Sometimes it also happens that there are two sentences which are contrary to each other, which are opposite to each other, and those two sentences are presented one after the other. There is a connection there. Second point, there can be one more point that there is a date. There's a date or timeline based. You can see there's a connection. So if there are 3 dates given, one is in October, one is in earlier August, and the other one is in the month of Jan in the same year. They will come in the ascending order. They will appear in the ascending order, like Jan, August, and October. And this is from the arrangement standpoint. You have to also look at whether the ideas given in those sentences, are they correct, are they proper or not. So that is also a point here. And yeah, so one has to look for in this with that there has to be some sort of an odd one out question. So in this way you will be able to look at what are the odd one out, and of course odd one out has to be also understood in terms of that of course you have to make pairs, but then while making pairs you have to also look that if a sentence is using a common word which was used in a lot in the 4 sentences, but the sentence is not matching with is not forming a pair with any other sentence, right? That is how it is. The next point is that time we can spend. We can solve 2 to 3 VA questions, analyze the questions that you answer so analyze the questions that you incorrectly answer. Correctly. So solving 2 to 3 odd one out questions is extremely important. It is extremely needed, and I think it's really important that we solve some certain questions every day. Without solving the questions, I don't think we will be able to do justice to whatever we are doing and whatever we are we are working hard. So I think we should put in a bit of an effort. Let's read the question here. Let's read whatever we're doing here. Reduce size of this. Let's say, though there have been some attempts to convert this straw to fuel, it seems to have, let's read the question first. 4 of the 5, when ordered logically, form a paragraph. Find the contextually odd one out. though there have been some attempt to convert this straw to fuel, it seems to have very little commercial value. Okay, so it's trying to say that this straw to fuel, they're talking about some sort of a straw here, say probably so only the natural substances, the organic substances, only they can be turned into fuel, right? The straw is nothing but some sort of a agricultural produce or a waste. Then it says that every year when farmers in Punjab and Haryana harvest their paddy crop, they are left with a stubborn residue. Okay, they're talking about a stubborn. So they now we get to know that where it is coming from. So there's a connection here. We're talking about paddy crop. So when farmers in Punjab and Haryana, they harvest their paddy crops, they are left with a they are left with a stubborn residue. So this harvesting and a paddy crop, this is what they are referring to. So we know that somewhere there's to 1 and 2 are part of the story basically somewhere. Okay, with very little time to prepare for the farmer has found it expedient to set fire to the straw. Now this is another thing that farmer has found it very much convenient to set fire to the straw. This is again a connection. Okay, but in past these toxins were largely limited to occupation exposure. Okay, toxins, and we were talking about what? We were talking about that there is paddy farming, and paddy farming say there is some residue left. Converting this residue to fuel doesn't seem to be a very good step with respect to business, and for the farmers it is very convenient to set fire to the straw. Okay, but this and toxin were largely limited to the occupation exposure. Usually, using manual labor to extract this stubble is both expensive and time consuming. So they're saying that using manual labor to extract the stubble is both expensive and time consuming. So they are all telling these problems with respect to what the farmers are facing, and where this, so basically the purpose of this paragraph is to highlight the reasons behind why a farmer is forced to set the residue to fire. That is the main problem here. Fourth one, talking about toxins were largely limited to occupation exposure. This is something which is not very relevant to whatever we are discussing, right? So we get to know that this paragraph actually would have started from this second line. Second line would have started saying that Every year when farmers in Punjab and Haryana harvested paddy crops, they are left with the stubborn residue. And then they say that uh, though there have been some attempts to convert this straw to fuel, there have been very little commercial value, one. And using manual labor to extract the stubble is both expensive and time consuming. And then comes here three, with very little time to prepare for the field for winter sowing, the farmer has found it expedient to set fire to the crop. In this way we can form the logical order, and we can see that this is how it is. So like I say that all sentences look relevant, but if we look closely, but if we understand the primary purpose, if we look at the language also never in the entire paragraph they were not mentioning about occupation exposure. They were not talking about toxins anywhere. So these things are actually we have to consider when yeah. One thing I want to talk about more also, that there has to be some sort of a language related analysis also. That if you're reading the odd one out question, look for the language related changes also. That there is certain way in which, or there's a certain tone in which there were certain terms which were used. For example, in this entire paragraph, they were not referring to past or present in any way. It was just the problem which was being discussed, right? Toxins were never discussed. Occupation exposure was never discussed. So, and anything of that sort wasn't discussed. It was just a problem with respect to that there is a straw, there is a certain residue, certain certain portion of the crop or of the produce which is not utilized. And since it is not utilized, the farmer has to do something to it, has to get rid of that very produce, so the farmer can start sowing the winter crops. So that has to be really understood, and that is what is the agenda of this entire. So this I created for you. Basically, this is not a question which I got online. I made this question for you. I took up a recent article in a leading newspaper, and from there I have created this question for you. So yeah, this is the order, and fourth is the odd one out. Okay, let's try and solve the last question here. Yeah. Sorry for the indentation, because since the own made question, didn't get time to work on the indentation as such. But let me just try to make it. Yeah. Oh, the last one was very much better. Okay, whatever way it wants to come. Sorry for that. It doesn't look very smart today. But yeah, question is correct only. I have made this question and I made it for you. This question is a little different. This question, I've taken an actual CAT question. It's a paragraph question, and in that I have added an extra line. So this is actually an actual CAT paragraaph question, paraformation question, and I've added an extra line to make it look like that this is actually a paragraph of four lines, and I have added one more line to add complexity to it and make you sort of think that okay, which one is the odd one out. And I'm sure all of them will look connected, but I'll show you that they are not. Okay, so grammar also will be used, language and understanding of language will also be used, and ideas and primary purpose will also be used here. It's just not one strategy. But now we have another group, the unwitting enablers. It says, but now we have another group, the unwitting enablers. Democracy, so they're talking about unwitting enablers. Democracy and high levels of inequality of the kind that have come to characterize the United States are simply incompatible. Talking about that democracy and the high levels of inequality of the kind. Talking about democracy and high levels of inequality. We don't know whether one is odd one out or two is odd one out, but just it should not color it also. But unwitting is an important word, because unwitting is somebody who doesn't understand the problem, who doesn't understand something clearly and starts doing something about without proper understanding of the problem, basically. Democracy and high levels of inequality of the kind that have come to characterize the US are simply incompatible. Okay. Believing these people are working for a better world, they are actually at most chipping away at the margins, making slight course corrections, ensuring the system goes on as it is uninterrupted. So yeah, these people are working for a better world. Who are these unwitting enablers, and why there is this unwitting is being sort of echoed here? They are chipping away at margins, making slight course correction, ensuring system goes on as it is uninterrupted. So they are making small changes somewhere. They are making small changes at the margins. But the bigger problem, the bigger issue is not being addressed to, the bigger challenges with respect to the system as in is working same. There are small change chipping away with the margin side. There is small changes at the very periphery, so when you chipping away at the margins, you are making very small contributions, very small changes to it, and by this what happens, that the system goes uninterrupted. So there is a clear connection between 1 and 3, that is for sure. We know that 1 and 3 are at least not odd one out, they are part of the paragraph. Why? Because there is this connection, there's a grammar based connection, the unwitting enablers in these people, and there is an idea based connection, that when you said to them unwitting, that means they do not understand the problem completely and still they want to help, and still they're working in a field to make sort of to help people, or they're working in healthcare, they're working as human rights activists, or they're working as NGO volunteers or NGOs. what they're doing, they are chipping away the margins, making slight course corrections, and the system goes as it is. Connection between 1 and 3 has been established. Then says that, 4 says, very rich people will always use money to maintain their political and economic power. Yes. And now there's a clear-cut connection between 2 and 4 also. Why? It says that democracy and high level of inequality is present in the US, and they're simply incompatible. And it says that very rich people will use money to maintain their political and economic power. So this is connecting to this idea. Okay. Also, if you look at this way, very rich people will always use money to maintain their political and economic power. Okay? But now we have so there is this contrast coming here. Remember, I said that sometimes contrast also gives a connection. So 2, 4, and then 1. Why? There's a connection between 4 and 1, because 4 says very rich people will always use money to maintain their political and economic power. But 1 says, but now we have another group, the unwitting enablers. So 2, 4, 1, 3, there is a clear-cut connection. But what is less appreciated is that, so we now know that fifth is the odd one out. But what is less appreciated is that all the pillars of a democratic system of governance are under assault. See, we were not talking about governance. We were not talking about any sort of assault. Because the main theme of this 4 lines was that there is there is in high level of inequality in the system, and there are few people who are working to make it better, but since they do not understand the entire problem correctly, they are making certain errors. They are making certain errors, such as they are just working in the margins and they're making slight course corrections, and but what happens? The system goes on as it is, uninterrupted. So that was a purpose to sensitize people about that. Basically, the purpose, if you can say, the summary of was to talk about the unwitting enablers who are basically they're trying to do good thing, but a lot is not happening. And on the contrary, because of whatever they're doing, the system goes on as it is going on. There are no radical changes coming in. That was the purpose. What is less so here appreciated means something which is not understood, not something which is not praised, something which is not liked, something for which we don't give positive feedback. This is when you appreciate something, there's also a meaning that when you understand something, when you realize something, you're aware of something. So, but what is less appreciated is that all the pillars of a democratic form of government are under assault. This is completely out of order. completely odd one out. Also, we have formed our pairs appropriately. Right. So in this way, you can manage it. You see that what is less appreciated is that all the pillars of a democratic system of governance are under assault. So what is less appreciated is that all the pillars of a democracy. So say if we are marking say this line, or say fourth line, very rich people will always use money to maintain their political and economic power. If we use fourth line, so if we see the fourth line is odd one out, then what has happened? We have failed to realize that there's a but here. There's a contrasting line. So if there is a line which is contrasting to something, where is the line to which it is in contrast to? So we have sort of missed out on language as standpoint. Also, we have also missed out on the um, on the on the grammar standpoint also. Also, we have not understood that what was the purpose of writing this end of this particular paragraph, and we have confused ourselves. We have allowed ourselves to be confused when we're talking about certain people who are working for trying to do some good, but they're not able to do it because they don't understand it completely. This is the one purpose, and we are mixing it with another story which is coming out here, that pillars of a democratic system of government that is under assault. So there is what has happened. Lesson learned is what? That there is we did not understand the grammar-based connection. Fail to see contrasting the contrasting lines in a paragraph. And did not understand the purpose of the paragraph. Modification in, so this is when we mark 4 as our answer. So if you mark 4 as our answer, we did not understand the grammar-based connection. We failed to see the contrasting lines in the paragraph. We did not understand the purpose of the paragraph. Modification in preparation. Modification in preparation is that we understand the purpose we understand the purpose of the paragraph. Also, we understand the look for grammar-based connection. and we also fail to and also look for contrasting lines. See, what were the contrasting lines? Contrasting lines with this. Very rich people will always use money to maintain political and economic power, but now we have another group, the unwitting enablers. That is a connection. So this is how you have to do. All right. So please subscribe to Unacademy live classes. You get live classes, get to interact with the educator, live polls, and leaderboard. You get test series and analysis. You also get live doubt clearing sessions as well. Use the code Saxena Live, get 10% discount. Also, on the app, you get a lot of free special classes, which for which we don't charge you anything. You can utilize those classes, and you get free quizzes as well. And please utilize this and refer